Dina said that the Bobby Brown products were the best birthday favors ever, and I teased her for calling them favors, as if I was 5 again and handing out cellophane bags filled with candy and those cheapo sound makers that unfurl when you blow them. At the photo booth by the food court, we posed for 3 different strips of pictures, some goofy and some for real. Later that night, when we were back at my house, we cut the strips apart and divvied up the pics. I picked one, then Cinnamon, then Dina. Then all over again until every photo was claimed. "You have got to give that one to Lars," Cinnamon said of one in particular, and I was laughing, and my hair was swished back in a particularly flattering way. My eyes were bright and happy. "I don't think so," I said. We were in my bedroom, all 3 of us sprawled on our stomachs on the carpet. The pictures were spread out in front of us. "Why not?" she said. "Because it would be too obvious, that's why." "What, I'm just gonna whip it out and say, 'Here, this is for you'?" Yes. No." I glanced at Dina for support. She tittered. "Don't you want him to see how hot you are?" Cinnamon said. "Not if I have to be the one who shows him." "Then I'll do it," she said, deftly exchanging my swished hair picture for one from her own collection. "Hey!" I protested. "Yeah, whatever," Cinnamon said. She stacked her pics and slipped them into her back pocket, where I couldn't grab them without being a perv. My cheeks got hot, because she knew and I knew, and even Dina knew, that I did want Lars to see, just as long as Cinnamon was subtle about it, which, given the fact that she was Cinnamon, was totally a crapshoot. But making a big deal out of it would only egg her on. I picked up the photo she'd given me in exchange for the one of me as a babe. It was one of the goofy ones, with Cinnamon mugging for the camera and Dina stretching her mouth out with her fingers. I lurched at an angle behind them, making a deranged, hairy eyeball face. I imagined Cinnamon giving Lars this one and snort-giggled. "What?" Cinnamon said. "Nothing," I said. "Seriously, what?" Cinnamon hated being left out of a joke. I shrugged. No way was I planting that idea in her head. It did make me realize, though, how thankful I should be that we had traded. It was a nugget of unexpected good. "Just so you know," I said, thinking about oysters. "Oysters?" Cinnamon repeated. Dina abruptly sat up. "Winnie, please tell me you don't have an oyster hidden somewhere." "What are you talking about?" Cinnamon demanded. "Did anyone bring up oysters? No, I don't think so. Oysters are so not a part of this conversation." I laughed. "Oysters be gone!" she cried. "Tell me right now there are no oysters lurking about," Dina said. "I mean it. No oysters, I promise. Only symbolic oysters." "Symbolic oysters?" Cinnamon said. "Yep," I said grandly. I rolled onto my back and gazed at the ceiling. "And in every symbolic oyster is a symbolic pearl." Cinnamon groaned, which only added to my pleasure. The carpet was nubbly against my skin, and I realized that the lingering sadness I'd felt at the mall was no longer present. Instead, I felt expansive and happy. Yes, there is both good and bad in the world, and more often than not, they're mixed together. At least, that's how it seems to me. But it's the oyster thing again, because the trick is to find the good part and pull it out and say, "There, see? I could do that. I could do anything." I was 13.